Hello, business leadership class. Christopher Bulett here. I just got done watching the video on YouTube, and the diversity challenges was kind of interesting. My overall impression of the clip was kind of comical at first, but I think we've all encountered some type of diversity in our life and kind of can relate to the situations. Overall impression of it, I think that it doesn't really exist to that extent. I could understand that in certain situations or in small groups or in maybe smaller areas that this could potentially happen. But I work in a restaurant. I've worked in retail as well, so I've worked with a lot of different individuals and people with different cultures, different languages, all of that matter. And I could say that everyone's treated kind of fairly. You're generally going to have your stereotypes in our society today. That's just how things are. But overall, I don't really feel like I can personally say that I've seen that. I know when 9/11 happened, there was so much hatred for Muslims, which was kind of ridiculous. I watched another video in our sources or our source folder for week 4, and it talked about how at one point during the early 20s that Catholics were kind of treated as today's Muslims. So it's kind of comical. They would call it almost, they were like worshiping Satan, and it happened to be Christmas Mass. So yeah, I don't think that it really exists in today's society. I know it still exists in some parts, but I don't think it's kind of impacting too much. And the next question was, how common do you feel that this happens in business? There's always a certain situation where, like I said, small groups might make small talk or make, the stereotypical jokes. But I don't think it really happens in business. Like I said, I have a few different managers that are all different ethnic races, and everyone's treated with respect for the most part. And next question is, how could you have handled the situation? If I was showing an individual around who kind of started making those little comments, I'd kind of pull them aside and be like, do you have any issue or problem working with a diverse group? We are larger. But on the positive side, it brings a lot to the table, having all this diversity. And, see if they're uncomfortable, because if they're uncomfortable in a situation, then it's not going to be good chemistry, so to speak. Also, I think that, if someone's uncomfortable in a business situation, it might not necessarily be their fault technically. People can change as people get educated and get introduced and build new relationships with individuals. But, if someone comes from an area that is one way, chances are they're going to be that way when they enter a new area. It's all they know. Can someone change? Yes. Can someone be molded? Yes. And I think that I would have kind of pulled him aside and asked him if this is going to be an issue for any reason, and talk about, listen, we have different ethnic races here, we have different people here. How do you see yourself fitting in? Also, if it became a problem to where he's saying inappropriate things, I would actually let the manager know, like, listen, this is how he is. I don't know if he means anything by this or if he just feels uncomfortable. I'm sure he'll get through it, but I just wanted to bring this to your attention, because if you're introducing someone or showing someone around a business and you don't see these attributes that this person holds, that it'll look bad on you. It could reflect negatively on yourself as well. So moving on to the next question, what ethical and moral concerns are triggered by the situation? And I thought this was best talked about when they interviewed the individuals that the gentleman had a problem with. He met an African-American gentleman and kind of was like looking at him like, this guy's in charge here, and kind of almost seemed offended. And also the girl that was a little handicapped as well, he like stared at her like she was from another planet or something, which is completely wrong. I understand that it's not normal to see that every day, but you have to be respectful about these kind of things. So I think it kind of brought people back in time, so to speak, to feel uncomfortable that they were made, their environment that they worked in, especially the lady. She talked about how she was here for a while and she has some young kid walk in and just completely stare at her and make fun of her. You could just read the body language off him. So I think the ethical and moral concerns were, racism, hatred. I don't think it would be good chemistry with the entire team that they had. So I think that's the different things that were triggered by the situation. I like, though, how the African-American gentleman said that, he doesn't have time for this. He's important and he has more important things to do. So that was kind of moral of him to do that. What attributes found in The Loudest Duck can be seen in the video? Looking in the book, I noticed one that was kind of stood out a little bit, so to speak. Loudest Ducks brings having an overall different culture and a mixed group into the palette. It adds diversity, it adds culture, it adds difference, which is good. In a large business like that, having multiple people from all around the world or from different states or from different religions, I think it makes your bond that much stronger because it consists of creativity. You have all these different influences on your business rather than just being one way. If you're one way, then you really don't have an open mind. So when you have an employees that are very diverse, it kind of mixes things up and allows creativity to flow, in my opinion. So that's kind of what I thought about the overall video. I look forward to doing more of these, and hopefully I helped out with what I had to say. Have a good day.